Oh dear. Hello, how are you? I'm Adam Paul Morgan and thank you for clicking on to what is a vlogging and a video where I talk about the who-has, the what-nots and the general what's been going on. What's been going on in Birmingham and the surrounding areas of the West Midlands. We got pretty wet the other day. Now, the rest of the world is probably thinking that's nothing, but the thing is, we're not used to rain that quick and that hard. No. But the route I was taking on that day, I normally go to the in-laws on a Wednesday, is I'm off to the in-laws, and the route that I take on the Wednesday is through the park, and this was the park. When I actually managed to get in, I managed to go on social networking, and there was a flood of photographs. Get it? Floods. Never mind. But there was loads of photographs and videos of people who were stranded in the somewhere through all the water because the drainage system couldn't take it or anything like that. But really, the very next day, a lot of people took a brolly and coat with them. This whole thing that I do, the vlogging Adam, the top 5, which is the top 10, but half the work that I do in the review, sort of, that I do every now and again, that all of this nearly came to an end. Why? This. My laptop decided to not work completely, but all it was the internal fan. The device was overheating and it just didn't want to work. So I took it apart, took everything apart. Now I looked online and most websites and people I've spoken to said that if you're taking apart a laptop, the easiest thing to get to is the fan. Not on this one, this Samsung, whatever it was, it's a good couple of years old. Everything I had to take apart, everything. I had to disconnect the disk drive, I had to disconnect the hard drive, I had to disconnect the touchpad, the keyboard, the speakers, just so I can unscrew the fan, give it a quick clean, get all the dust out and put it all back together. I thought it was supposed to be easier than that to clean the fan. Now, if you've got, particularly now the weather's getting warmer, a very old device or in a very dusty area, and this is including games consoles as well, because they've all got, except the handheld ones, as far as I know, they've all got a sort of internal fan to keep the device cool. Now, it is worth checking out how to clean these things for future reference, or the best way to clean them. Find out, checking out how to clean your devices. I just got the Hoover on mine and just hoovered it up, but just be very careful when you're doing that. Now, this whole thing that's going on with the referendum, I'm not one to sort of push down somebody's neck which way to vote. Should we stay in Europe or should we leave? I'm not going to throw that in anyone's face or anything like that. But I've met a number of people, both right-wing nutters and left-wing nutters, who have talked to me about which way I should vote. And this is generally what I feel like when they're talking to me about this. Joking aside, this election or referendum that's coming up, this is a big one and it is definitely worth going out there and voting. But don't listen to any nutter that you know, particularly the politicians who are running the campaigns, stay or go campaigns, whatever they're called. Don't listen to them. Find out your own research. So, you know, if you're watching this, you've got the internet. Use the internet to find out your own research. There's plenty of leaflets coming through the door now. Ignore majority of them, but just, you know, it's worth doing your own research into which way you should vote. You know, they've got the television campaigns, you know, hitting hard now. Leaflets, as I say, are coming thick and thin through the door. But really, you know, which way to vote is completely up to you. And I would say, yes, it's definitely worth voting, because this is a big one. This is going to affect people in Britain and I suppose Europe as well, you know, how we go about things. So it's worth looking into. But as I say, I'm not one to bang on about which way to vote. All I'm saying is that I'm definitely voting. But I've known many of friends who have, you know, in past elections, who are really good friends, who get into a political argument. And I think I've seen people have domestic arguments that are less shouty than this, and two good friends losing their friendship over some political thing. Is it worth it? The voting, yes, but getting too deep into it, a little bit. But people who talk to me about which way to vote, really, I've got better things to do, particularly when I'm at work. Here comes the bit that happens at the end of most of these videos. In Birmingham, are you from Birmingham in the UK? Did you get hit hard by the floods? Leave your comments below and I will probably take the time to read them, if any.